fabulous, happy, positive, optimistic, and inspiring Brent Lindeque. Woohoo! Let's give it up for Brent. You hear the crowds going wild. So let's tell everyone why you're here. You are here today because it is Positive Media Awareness Day. I think that's what it's called. Positive Media Awareness Day. And you are the good things guy. So how brilliant to have you with us today. So welcome.
Thank you very much. I got invited to be in your office. I had no idea why I was here. And to hear that there is a Positive Media Awareness Day is absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Just so cool. And it's great to be a guest on sort of your show. This is your show.
So it's our show, YouTube, Insta, it goes on to all those sort of places with our great followings who always just want inspiration, because we're not just about babies and children, we're about parents too, because parents are people too.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. Okay, cool. So let's go through Good Things Guy. So we chatted a little bit before this about what is Good Things Guy and how did you get to Good Things Guy? And I love your story of how you just went, let's make a change, let's do things differently. So tell me how it all started, what happened?
Okay, so we didn't get into this off air, but there was something happening around the world 9 years ago. It was called neck nominations. Do you remember neck nominations at all? Maybe some of you do, I don't know.
No.
It was a crazy viral trend. It was the first real social media trend that used social media as a catalyst to grow itself. So before the ALS bucket challenge and all of those sort of things, this was the thing. And it was really silly.
Aren't they always silly? They're like, what's planking? Like all of those things.
I forgot about the planking.
All ridiculous.
All ridiculous. So this one was all about drinking. And you had to drink as much as you possibly could, alcohol. And do something silly, like some sort of act, and then nominate someone to outdo what you've done. And it comes from Australia, and the reason for that is to neck means to drink. So neck nominate.
Okay.
And it was sort of taking the world by storm. There were millions of videos being uploaded from all around the world. And I was watching this thing unfold from South Africa.
Amazing.
And I thought to myself, like, first of all, why aren't people being more responsible with what they put online? A little tidbit, if you wouldn't put it in the front page of a newspaper, do not put it on your social media. That's 100%. And the second is, why weren't people using their social media to be kind, do good, inspire each other?
I ask myself that all the time. Absolutely. You get all of these influencers and these people of... I suppose people are staring at them and they just do terrible things. They don't do anything with their profiles, and they could be doing so many amazing things.
So much. So it was a Friday morning. I got to the office, opened up my computer, and there was a friend of mine that had neck nominated me.
Oh.
And I was like, what do I do? Like, what should I drink? What should I do? And I decided instead of drinking, I would feed a homeless person. Try and be kind. Try and help someone in my community. I got my colleague to record the thing, and it was the first video that I'd ever posted online. I had to register YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't have, back then, this is on all sorts of different social media sites, but back then there was only YouTube for video.
Absolutely.
Only. I put the video up, and in a couple of seconds, it shot to 301 views.
Oh my gosh.
A couple of seconds. And I thought to myself, how incredible is this?
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. People are watching this video. What I didn't know at the time is when things were going viral 9 years ago, the counter would stop at 301 views. And I guess they had to make sure that it wasn't anything untoward. Mm-hmm. That night I went to a friend's birthday dinner, and she said to me, Brenty, I'm so proud of you. I can't believe your videos had 10,000 views. I can't believe, and back then that's crazy. Like now on TikTok you get 5 million views, and you're like, whatever. Yeah. But back then it was really, really big. And she said, and I can't believe that people around the world had started to change their neck nominations into rack nominations. And that's really where the Random Acts of Kindness movement was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, mad.
I even remember having one of those jars where I used to put things in and pull it out and do
mad. Just mad. And,
so you are the founder.
Maybe the founder for South Africa.
Yes, no, you must take it your stride.
Own it.
Yes,
Own it.
So was it.
Yeah, the next day I woke up and the video had hundreds and thousands of views,
and
there were all these missed calls on my phone from international numbers. I didn't know at the time. I don't know how they got my number, but it was CNN and BBC and Sky News, and everybody wanted to interview me and find out why what I had done had changed this game. That's really where my world changed.
Beautiful.
because at that journey and those couple of weeks that I was thrust into this media space on TV and radio and all these.
What year was this, like roundabout?
2014.
Oh wow, okay,
2014.
really in the beginning.
So when that was happening, for the first time in my life, I'd sort of been put into a space where I was seeing good things happening. Because as my social media started to grow, as I was getting all this media attention, other South Africans, charities, businesses with great CSR projects, they were all contacting me to tell me about their projects. And for the first time, I was like, things in South Africa are really good.
Wow,
like we've been told all our lives that this place is falling apart, and
Correct,
whatever that is.
absolutely.
But for me, in that moment in 2014, my eyes were open to a different world. And I wanted South Africans to feel like I did. I wanted other South Africans to have that pride and that hope.
That's it.
And that hope.
And that's what keeps people going, is that hope.
100%.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's kind of where it was born. I then got given a show on Cliff Central where we spoke about good news stories. And during my time at Cliff Central, I realized that needed to be bigger. And I'm not saying that because Cliff Central's small, but it's podcasting. Like, where's my gran gonna get this news?
Correct, 100%.
Where's she gonna get this
Absolutely.
news? So yeah, a year after that, on the 1st of August 2015, I launched goodthingsguy.com.
Beautiful.
I like to say that first day I had one reader, my mom.
Of course.
She's my biggest fan.
Yay,
She's my biggest
we
fan.
love moms.
And by the end of the day, she showed it to my father, so I doubled my readership.
Yeah.
I was on a good wicket. But 8 years later, and on a good month, we can have over 2.5 million readers, which is just absolutely insane to think of that
That's
number.
amazing. And they're coming for good news.
For good news.
That's what they're coming for.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not
Yeah.
coming for, that voyeuristic thing that we have in our lives at the moment, where everyone's just looking at who's going to fall on their face next, who's going to, doom and gloom.
It's
and
good
want
news.
Positive
Good.
things. And,
What's
and like you said, it's all hope based, and we need hope
Yes,
as the
we need hope.
human race.
We need
Absolutely.
hope. So there's two things, right? One, news is important. We need to know what's going on around us. You have to know.
100%.
Otherwise, you won't have an idea of what's going on in your world. But I think over the journey of the last couple of years, I've realized how important balance is. We need balance. We need to have that thing to just deliver that hope again.
Absolutely.
And that's the first thing. The second thing, what's been an incredible thing to see, is how people come to the site early in the morning. So, because you can measure who's on your
course,
site,
yeah,
and it's so incredible to see people waking up, maybe with their cup of coffee, sitting in bed, and literally scrolling through our news in the morning. What a way to start the day!
That is just like
that's the way it
how
should be.
you want it. You want to start your day like that, and you want to end it like that.
Yeah.
I think, and it's the same sort of feeling like when I've had a really horrible day and I go home and I see my kids, I give them a big hug, and then they'll just like make everything better. That's what good news does to you as well.
Yeah.
It gives you that hope, it gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling, and that is essentially what you want throughout your day. And I think that we've got our banjo mascot, who I showed you pictures of earlier.
Yes.
And that was the same thing. I wanted a real life mascot, and I wanted a bear because there was nothing tied to it that could scare children away, or that people could have sexual or racial comments about. And it's just something that people, when they see my bear banjo, they just want to huggle and snuggle it, and that's what articles do, and that's what news does. So I just wanted to ask you some more things about being a positive citizen, I
Yes.
suppose we can call it.
Yes.
I'm the most eternal. I'm the eternal optimist, patriotic South African optimist, and I think that there are times where we all go through like that doom and gloom of what's happening around us. How do you keep yourself positive?
So an interesting thing happened during the pandemic. Because of this thing that I created, Good Things Guy, I felt it was almost like a responsibility
You are
for
the
me
ambassador.
to be happy,
Damn
to be
straight.
positive, to be that guy all the time.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely for many years did. So even when I was having a bad day,
Right.
I would sort of project online and onto my social media that everything was okay and whatever. On day 80, it was exactly day 80, and I remember it. It's etched in my mind. But
And
I remember
I
it.
even remember that post that you did, funny enough.
Good grief.
Yeah.
So on day 80, I had a full-on panic attack.
Yeah.
It was a realization that I suffer from anxiety. I didn't know that I did before, and I had to just switch off. I was like, there's too much going on. The world's gone crazy.
Absolutely.
No one knows what is normal anymore. It was just too much, and I took a couple of days off. And those days that I took off, it gave me another gift. So, because I call Good Things Guy gift, it gave me another gift. It made me realize that me trying to be an eternal optimist, trying to be this inspirational person is irresponsible.
100%.
It's irresponsible. It's not real. And it's unobtainable. Nobody else will be able to be at that level. So if they see me, if someone follows me online and they see this happy guy all the time, they'll feel like there's something wrong with them because they're having bad days. So that was the day, and I wrote about it. And I was like, guys, from now on, from this day forth, I'm going to be honest. This is me being honest. If I'm having a bad day, you're going to know about it. And I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to be like, today, I'm not giving you inspiration.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go fill my cup, whatever that is. So that was the first thing. But to your question, how do I do it? Filling your cup. I believe that you can't give of yourself if your cup is empty. And many people have said that. There's all the gurus out there that believe it. It's the truth. And some days you have to tap out. Some days you have to, I play PlayStation. Some days you have to go sit with your shoes off in the sun to sort of like get that. Some days you got to play with your kids, your dogs. You got to do some days you got to drink wine. It's like, what am I going to do to fill my cup again so that I will be okay? Maybe not tomorrow or the next day, but what am I going to do to work towards being in that happier space? And I think that was a huge realization for me, and it's something that I've taken on board. And something that I've become really good at, switching off, getting away from all that stress and everything that's going on, and filling my cup.
I love that.
That's
and
important.
filling your cup, someone said to me, they taught me something very interesting. They said, you don't just fill your cup. You need to fill your cup with 3 different things. Wine, water, and milk. Milk is to nourish you, water is just to sustain you, but you've got to have that wine and that champagne for those moments that you want to celebrate in life. So you've got to have all of those things in your cup at different times. And again, if you are filling your cup with water, it's got to be clear, beautiful, pure water. You don't want cloudy, murky, undrinkable water. So it's important, I think, to be conscious of that. And on the fact we spoke about how you want to be honest. And the truth is that, you can't appreciate one thing without the other things. You can't appreciate the good things without all the really bad things, because you got to balance it out. As you said, 100%. I think it's very, very important. And I think, particularly in a parenting sort of space, we're just so overwhelmed sometimes with family and looking after kids and doing all those things. But got to look after yourself. Got to have that moment of clarity and self-time as well. And it's not about being selfish. It's about looking after yourself.
Self-care.
There you go. 100%. And we were just speaking about it earlier, how there's so much talk about mental health. But there's actually not talk about mental health, because sometimes you don't realize how close it is to you in your circle, and people putting on acts, you don't actually realize what's going on in their lives as well. So, and I always like to say, just be kind, because you never know what's happening. Just be kind to people. Tell me, what has been one of your most memorable good stories that you've covered?
So it's an incredible story. It was one that I covered in the early days, so 2015. A gentleman by the name of Andy Loughton lives down in Somerset West. And when I get up on stage, this is a story that I always go to, because the world is changing very rapidly all the time, right? And over the past couple of months, I've been pulled into all of these panel discussions and sort of interviews where we discuss purpose and passion over profit.
You've covered.
So it's an incredible story. It was one that I covered in the early days, so 2015. A gentleman by the name of Andy Loughton lives down in Somerset West. And when I get up on stage, this is a story that I always go to, because the world is changing very rapidly all the time, right? And over the past couple of months, I've been pulled into all of these panel discussions and sort of interviews where we discuss purpose and passion over profit. It's a big thing that companies are focusing on. What is your purpose? What is your passion? The money will come. That's what the belief is, and I believe it does work.
Me too, absolutely.
And Andy Loughton's story goes exactly to that purpose and passion, and how when purpose and passion work hand in hand, miracles happen and great things happen. So he runs a soup kitchen down in Somerset West, and one morning he was driving into work, because that's his work. He runs a soup kitchen, and he thought to himself, the people that I'm helping don't have a purpose. They don't have a job. So they come, they eat, they go home.
They're just surviving.
They're surviving.
Yeah.
I need to give them a purpose. I need to give them a reason to I don't know, give them something to. So he stopped at his local supermarket and he bought a whole bunch of garbage bags. And he got to the soup kitchen and he said, today you're not just going to get fed. Today, I'm going to give you a job. Go out into Somerset West, clean it up. Come back with 1 bag, I'll give you food. Come back with 2, I'll give you clothing. Whatever that barter sort of was. That story, when I published it, it went viral. And it was huge, the way that it was being shared all over social media. Because people were like, oh my gosh, imagine we could give other people purpose. And in our own purpose. It would just be absolutely incredible. And over the years, I've revisited his story. Because Andy has kinda grown his own economy. He's got charity shops, he's got vegetable gardens, he's got different odd jobs that these people can do to actually have employment and in that way be able to start to build a different life for themselves. And I think that story, it stems true with me always, but so much more now that we are speaking about purpose and passion over profits.
100%, and you are quite right. And it goes to that whole, the Maslow's hierarchy of self-actualization and all those different tiers and so on. People do, they just want purpose. I think that's the most important thing, and it's amazing that there are people out there who are bold enough and strong enough to actually form purpose for other people as opposed to thinking of themselves. Because I think at times,
what do they say? Great men, great people.
Yes.
We're going to remove men and women.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yes.
Great people will plant trees today that they'll never see the shade of. Like, that's purpose, right? Leave this world better than you found it, and help people along the way, really.
Absolutely, and that's I think really what we want to instill. And there's been so many negative things in the media recently, so many things happening, and you hear about journalists being taken out or shot or dying from this stress, all those kind of things like that. And it's a tragic situation, and it's not just South African; it's a worldwide thing at the moment. And you're in a different space where you media, but
happy media.
Happy media. No, it's happy real media. I don't know what we're going to call it because it's got those other elements as well. I think that's so important as well. And I think one of my colleagues, I think that they met you at it was a seminar a few weeks ago. I think we were speaking about, I think, the purpose over.
It may have been.
I think it could have been, absolutely. And it is people like you who just keep our lights going. I think that's like so important, so important. Speak about being, so I know that you have taken on children as well, so they're not your biological kids.
Yeah.
So you are a parent, essentially,
Yeah.
because anyone that looks after a kid is a parent. And how has that experience been? How do you continue uplifting, but at the same time giving like real stories and facts to those kids at the same time without giving them the doom and gloom?
Yeah, so I must say, right, I've been with Andrew now for 14 years that we've been together, and when I met him, Matthew was 4 years old, and I think Maxine must have been about 7ish.
Yeah.
And I'm the luckiest parent alive because they are the nicest kids.
Look how excited you're getting.
They are good humans,
I love that.
really, really good humans. And we've always, so you ask about like factuality and what's going on in the world and do we sprinkle it, we've always been honest with them. So they understand what's going on around them. They understand what goes on in the world. And I guess they're just well-rounded kids. And I don't know if the honesty helped to have those conversations with them when they creep up, to have those conversations.
Correct.
But they're really, really, really good humans, and I'm incredibly proud to call myself their dad.
That is amazing. And speaking of parents, what is the most important lesson that you took from your parents?
So my parents got divorced when I was really, really young. So I had kind of two families, right?
Yes.
So there's many families that get divorced, they go through that.
Yeah.
It's not a single once-off thing. But my mom is where I get my kindness from.
Okay.
My mom must be the kindest person in the world. And she's not, I call it quiet kindness. Yeah. So my mom does things and doesn't tell people. She'll be standing in the queue at a grocery store, and she'll see someone in front of her that may look like they're not buying a lot, and they're sort of putting together and she'll pay for them. Like that, she's that type of human. Amazing. And she just won't tell anyone. It's quiet kindness. And she does that every day, all week.
I call those people angels.
She is an angel. So I think I know I got my kindness from my mom. And my dad and my mom's still here. My dad passed away a couple of years ago, very tragically. But my dad, I got my zest for life.
Beautiful.
So he lived every single second as if it was his last. And he lived a great life. And he taught me that's important, to live in the moment, seize the day, carpe diem, all of those things. And the other thing I think is, with his love for life, was his love for his friends and the people he kept around him. Beautiful. So, to be interesting, you got to be interested. And he was very interested in everybody around him. That's
amazing. And again, by showing interest in other people, it actually gives them purpose to connect with you at the same time.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
How do you discipline yourself in terms of, because I'm not going to go into the parenting part too much. So my question for someone with young kids would be, what is your positive parenting method? But I'm going to put it in your hands. I'm going to say, what is your own positive parenting method for yourself in terms of self-discipline for yourself? What drives you to get up and shave and do this and do that?
So, I mean, we're going to go back to purpose, but I lead, I don't know if I might be ADHD. I've never been diagnosed, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm very OCD.
What star sign are you?
Capricorn.
Okay.
Capricorn. I like things to be a certain way. My change management is not fantastic, and I know that. So because of that, I plan my day. And I did a sort of Zoom discussion with a great sort of life coach. I was interviewing him, but he was interviewing me. It was this crazy thing. And while we were setting up the interview, we were looking for a time in my diary when it could happen. So I just screen grabbed my whole diary and I sent it to him. I said, here's mine. You can sort of make it work.
Yeah.
And during the discussion, he said to me, I'm in awe of the way that you manage your life. Because in my diary, I've got sort of my writing time. So when I wake up in the morning, I still get involved with Good Things Guy, even though it's this machine that's running by itself. I'm there, and every day in my diary from 5 a.m. until 11 is writing studio. Don't phone me. Don't be whatever. That is writing studio.
That's so disciplined.
It's 100%, and I know that I need to do it because it's there. Then I've got my gym. When I go gym, it's in my diary. My diary rules my life, but it's me ruling my life through my diary.
100%.
And that's how I discipline myself. It's with planning and then trying to get over the change management. When there's a spanner in the works, just trying to make that work for myself.
What's it? Make lemon juice, not lemonade. I don't know what.
Make wine out of lemons. Make wine out of lemons.
I absolutely love that. That's so true. Very, very much so. Why is it so important for parents to be great role models?
Oh, you are the first thing that child and that baby is going to look up to. In those sort of formative years, you are their be all and end all.
Absolutely.
Until you're not.
Correct.
And that means that in those years when they need role models, when they need to, my dad, so this is a great example. My brother was my dad's best friend and vice versa.
Yes.
And my dad was my role model as well, but to my brother, my dad was his absolute everything. And because of that, he gave my brother the coping mechanisms to get through life. He gave him the decision, and he gave it to me as well, but I'm using him as an example.
Of course, absolutely.
Gave him his decision-making skills. He gave him his morals and his values, and so did my mom, but my brother were really close.
Yeah.
And today, even though my dad's not here, my brother still makes decisions that sort of my dad would as well.
Of course.
And I think that's what role models do for you. They teach you how to be hopefully a good human, and they give you those life lessons so that even if they're not here, you're still able to do the things.
And that's what you want. You want to be able to continue someone's positive legacy and, almost like etch it into your own soul and carry out those things as well. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and I need to add, you would want to be your kid's role model, right?
Imagine
they grow up and they were like, no, auntie whoever was my role model. And you were like, no, what about me? It was me. I was here.
You're so right about that. So right. I watched, I'm sure you've probably seen it. It's a famous video. It's from a Navy SEAL in America. And he stands up on the podium because he's winning an award or something. And he speaks about why he makes his bed every single day.
Incredible.
And I love that. And I'm really trying to instill that in my kids. A, it's giving you that purpose.
Yes.
And B, it's giving you those tasks. And when you tick off one task, you move on to the next one. And then you move on to the next one, because it's that encouragement and that self-fulfilled prophecy that you are putting into your life as well. It's the most wonderful video. If you guys haven't seen it yet, actually, I think we need to find it in posters as well. It's about what you do and why you should make your bed every single day with neat hospital corners. Really good thing, and I think we'll post it onto this as well so you guys can have a look at it. You do need purpose in life, very, very much
Yes.
so. I think, what is the future of Good Things Guy? Where is it going, and where are you going?
Where am I going?
Apart from Paris.
I'm going everywhere. So I leave for Paris. This interview is going to be a little bit later, but I leave for Paris in 2 days, just for a holiday. Where am I going? So Good Things Guy as a universe, just organically and beautifully, it keeps growing. At the beginning of this year, we partnered with Prime Media Malls.
Yes.
And now you can watch our top 5 good news stories, which is a video we put out every week anyway.
So cool.
You can now watch it in 30 shopping centres around the country.
I love that.
Reaching over 25 million people, 25 million South Africans, which is mind-blowing, right?
That is mind-blowing.
It's crazy. For Good Things Guy itself, the next thing that will be coming is a TV show. And I know that's going to happen. In my heart of hearts, I feel like South Africa needs it. I feel like we need some sort of good news, something. And I think it's moving into that direction. And for me, so I'm part of that. I'm in there. I'm working on all those
your
things.
DNA. I mean, that's
I'm manifesting that. And at the same time, the global stage is sort of where I want to go. And not only speaking to global citizens, but speaking to expats who are living in all over the world. And just reminding them that, yeah, South Africa is tough and we have a complex relationship with this beautiful country that we love, but there is still hope. And we know that you've sort of left, and that's a good journey for you. But I'm just here to remind you that we're still doing okay. And that manifestation, it is happening. So global talks are happening. It's that's where I'm going.
And one thing I must say, you can never beat the personality of a South African and the community that we have.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip that was going around on WhatsApp recently? It was an advert for a insurance company, and it basically mimics all the people on a WhatsApp group in a community.
It was so funny, and you can relate to that because we're South African. That's
100%. If you gave
DNA.
to someone else, they wouldn't understand it. But all those things, we can so relate to. And you know what? We are faced with so many struggles all day, every day. But we are hard and we are tough and we get up and we make stuff happen. And we are survivors at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And for me, being a female in South Africa at this stage of my life, it's just the most amazing space to be in South Africa, because I'm witnessing all this change, and it gives opportunities to create amazing things that people actually need. So, I mean, this is the place where we need to be at the moment.
I feel exactly the same.
And absolutely, and people can go for whatever reasons, but it just leaves more opportunity to us. So there we go. That's kind of like my view on it. So you've told us where you're going. You've told us where you're going with Good Things Guy. And I think from Baby Yum Yum, we can only but wish you all the success. And I think you're on the right road. You have so many followers, and I think when I don't say followers, I don't mean people that like your things and click thumbs up and stuff. Actual followers, like people who are wanting to get the next news story out of you. And there's just so much, and the sky really is the limit. And you've embraced that, and I can completely relate to it. And congrats, you've done an amazing job.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on the show today.
Pleasure.
Baby Yum Yum is a great platform. It's very exciting to be here and to be in this space. And to be on your channel.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations to you. You're doing great things as well. Great things for South Africa.
Find opportunities, take advantage, empower people. And I think that's what we're both doing at the end of the day. We are empowering people with education or with hope or with whatever it is. But people do need that hope. And thank you so much. And thanks to you for making a great society that we live in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much. And don't forget, please, to like, thumbs up, share, do whatever you do, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And have a great, positive Media Awareness Day. We need more of these things. Thank you, guys.